Welcome back. Let's deep dive into Visu with more details. As the title says, today we will be talking about the menu. Let's just lock it so it stays permanently visible. As you can see, the menu is divided into 3 parts. And each element can be easily added by just pressing the Add button. Or we can add elements under the tree, so it will appear directly in the place we want it. So let's create a plan. Each plan has a parent, so we can define where the new plan will be placed. I will place it under Home. Let's just give it some title. We have that option to add icon to each menu element, so we can just select an icon. Let's go for the trend icon. And once we select the icon, we can select the color for it. Let's make it pink. Not that I like that color. Each plan, or actually every single element on the Visu, can be protected by the PIN code. We'll not be blocking it for now. But you must use minimum 4 digits. Of course, you can do more. If you create a PIN code for element, then on the visualization, once you have selected, you will be asked to provide the PIN. If you have elements below that plan, then the PIN code will be asked every single time you click on the one below. Show defines whether the plan will be visible for both plan and tile, or individually plan or tile. This allows you to create totally different visualization for the plan and tile, or mix and match. Obviously, there is a global setting where you can choose just one globally, and then you can ignore this setting. As in the old visualization, we have to select the resolution for the visualization. Most importantly, we're interested in the ratio, because the visualizations will be scaled up and down, but the ratio will never change. So we can manually change resolution. We can swap width and height, or we can choose the predefined different resolutions for different products. This is the place where we choose a layout. I'm going to talk on the layout in a second. Obviously, plan and tile has a background, so you can choose different color for it, or a background image. And if you select the image, you can also define how it will be displayed. If you have a lot of smaller ones, you can make a repeat, or scale to fit, or scale to fill. The same for tile. For tile, let's choose a color. Let's make it transparent a bit. I didn't select background for the plan. I will use layout for this as an example. Levels again can be added just from here, or you can just add them directly here. So, levels are just plan separators. And they also can be protected by a pin, and they also can have an icon with a color. So the level is here. I can then just drag it to a place where I want it to be, and then I can move my room to be under that level. If I select this level, then my view will jump to the next available plan. So if I click here, I'm selecting the room one. Layouts in general are just normal plan. We can place exactly all the elements what on plants, but they are intended to be used as some sort of templates. In the visualization where you have a constant elements across many plans, it's better to use a layout. Place elements on it and then attach it under the normal plan. So for example, I just created this layout. We'll just call it layout. The resolution must be the same as the plan you want to attach it to. And then we have the same background. I'll just add an image here, which might be our logo. I will put it in here. And now I go to my home because that's where my layout is attached. And I already have all those elements. But for example, if I go to my room 3, I can now select my layout and I already have all those elements here. I can click Edit Layout here, for example, move that here. So this will be already visible here and here. You can create as many layouts as you want. It's quite common to create custom menu on the layout so it can be used across the visualization. Custom widgets. That's the same custom widgets which, from old visualization or Mosaic. Similar concept where we just create a smaller plan with standard widgets on it. Let's just call it widget 1. Need to choose a resolution that obviously should be smaller than the plan you want to use it on. But now we have two kind of resolutions where we have width height and tiles width height. This is because in tiles we don't use pixel resolution. They use tiles as a number, same as in Mosaic. If I set custom width, then tile width will be set to the closest matching value with rounding up. The same if I adjust the tile width, then width will be adjusted automatically. And now, we can just simply place different elements on a widget. Let's just do something very basic. I have a big button on it. Obviously, you can place all those different widgets. The widget itself, as you can see, doesn't have many settings here. How it actually really looks like will be defined on the plan. So let's say if I go to my room and I add custom widget, I need to select my custom widget. And here it is how it looks like it's defined by the local appearance or the global appearance, which we were talking in introduction training. So, as in the old visualization, we can also make a state object. I will use exactly the same one from widget, and I can just place it anywhere. Now I can play with my object. Let's go back to our menu. So we talked about the custom widgets, layouts, and plans, but there are also options where we can also edit element, duplicate, replace, and delete. So editing can be done in two ways, just by double clicking, then we can edit. Or we always have option here to do a quick edit. Other option is duplicate, where I can just duplicate the plan. So now let's edit, and then I can rename it to 4. Next option is replace group addresses. Replace group addresses is something which we made a direct copy from ETS, which you for sure know this option, called paste special. And we pretty much just made a direct copy from it. So let's delete this, and I will just make a very basic demo of a switch, which is we'll have two objects. And you can see I have few objects down just next to each. I will now duplicate this plan. Duplicate this. Let's make it now 5. And now we go and replace group addresses. So we can see we have the switch object here with these group addresses. And that will be shifted by 2 and already showing me which object this object will have after I will save. So if I click on this object, mapping has changed. The remaining option is delete. It will always ask if you really want to do this. This all for today. Thank you for watching.